Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into the sources around England's huge win in the 2025 Women's Rugby World Cup final.
That's right. A 33-13 win over Canada at Twickenham looked dominant on the scoreboard.
It did, but look, the story, the real story of that final, it wasn't just the points. Our mission here is to pull out those key takeaways and maybe shine a light on 5 things most people kind of missed afterwards.
Yeah, it was definitely a signature performance, you could say. That's their 3rd World Championship title now for the Red Roses. Really showed their strength in the game, running in 5 tries. Clinical.
Very clinical.
But like you say, getting to that victory, well, it was full of these fascinating tactical bits and some moments that just smashed records. We should definitely take a closer look.
Absolutely. And look, if you love rugby and you want this kind of deep analysis, make sure you hit subscribe. Now, subscribe to Rugby Obsession for more of these deep dives. So let's start maybe not right on the pitch, but in the stands. Because the size of this thing, the scale, that was one of the biggest stories we found.
Oh, definitely. It's quite amazing, actually, the statement the fans made. I mean, the whole tournament sold, what, over 440,000 tickets across England?
Yeah, huge success overall.
But the final itself, it blew the records away. We're talking a world record attendance, 81,885 people for a women's rugby match.
81,000.
It's staggering. That's not just, a big crowd. That's a seismic event.
Yeah.
It changes the whole conversation around the sport, commercially speaking.
Exactly. And that's maybe the first big thing people missed. Right?
Yeah.
That roar. It wasn't just noise. It was, it's capital. When you get that kind of demand, every big sponsor, every broadcaster, they have to sit up and take notice. Serious notice.
It's proof.
It's proof, yeah. Definitive proof that women's rugby is properly mainstream now. And, for England, this was also about history, wasn't it?
Their 4th consecutive final appearance.
4 in a row. That tradition, that consistency, it's immense.
And if you think about the bigger picture, getting to 4 straight finals like that, it points to, sustained funding, a really developed professional pathway, something not many other countries can match right now.
It's a dynasty in the making.
Feels like it. They're building something quite special. But talking about details people might miss, let's look literally beneath the surface, the pitch itself.
Yes, I saw this in the sources, the groundskeeping footnote. Fascinating stuff.
It really is. That's the second sort of subtle detail that didn't grab the headlines. The pitch at Twickenham, prepared by an entirely all-female grounds crew.
Wow.
Led by Nikita Lloyd-Edwards. It seems like a small thing, maybe the logistical detail.
But it speaks volumes.
Exactly. It speaks volumes about, the professionalization, the representation needed now in every single part of the sport. Not just players, but operations too. It's a sign of deeper changes happening.
So here's where it gets really interesting then. The sheer size of this final. It went way beyond just the players. Record crowd, even down to who prepared the turf. Amazing. Okay, let's get into the match action now. Because despite that final 20-point gap, England actually had a bit of a rocky start, didn't they?
They did, yeah. Canada came out clearly with a plan to disrupt things. Fast and aggressive.
And they caught England out early.
Right away. Capitalized on what was, let's be honest, a rare mistake from Alex Matthews, usually so reliable.
That line-out fumble.
Yeah, the line-out malfunction 5 minutes in. And the winger, Asia Hogan-Rochester, she was onto it like a flash. Scored the opening try.
That must have been a bit of a shock for the home crowd.
Definitely a tactical shock. Showed Canada had done their homework, looking to mess with England's set-piece rhythm right from the off.
But then, and this felt like a huge psychological moment, England didn't wobble.
Not at all.
They hit back almost instantly. Pure individual class.
Just 3 minutes later, 8th minute it was, Ellie Kildunne, the fullback. The sources called it a devastating solo score, and, they weren't wrong.
She was brilliant.
Picked it up inside the Canadian half, backed herself, amazing speed and footwork. Just sliced through several defenders. Incredible try.
A real wonder try.
And more than just the points, wasn't it? It felt like England just grabbing back control emotionally and on the pitch.
Yeah, it showed that even if their structure got rattled for a moment, they had that individual brilliance to just reset things.
Absolutely. But the rest of that half, it wasn't really built on flair like that, was it? It was more about Tactical power, brute force almost.
Yeah, you saw the English pack really start to assert themselves after that. That was the core strategy you felt.
Totally. Hannah Botterman, the prop, she was immense. Kept making these crucial turnovers, breathless turnovers, the sources called them.
Meaning she was just relentless at the breakdown.
Exactly. Winning ball back, disrupting Canada's possession just when they needed it, kept the pressure on.
And that pressure told.
It did.
Yeah.
Led directly to the second try, 18th minute. Amy Cokayne, the hooker, finishing off a classic, dominant rolling maul.
Looked unstoppable.
For experts watching, the technique there was exceptional. Not just raw power, but so controlled, technically perfect. It just dismantled Canada's defense, shows England sticking to their strengths.
And they doubled down on that, didn't they?
Yeah.
The scrum provided the next platform.
Yep. Third try, 26th minute. Scrum drives over, showing that set-piece superiority again. Quick ball from Natasha Hunt, the scrum half.
Another 2014 winner.
Right. Finds Alex Matthews supporting. And she scores. Good recovery for her after the earlier line-out issue.
Shows how they adapted, right? One set piece falters, they shift the attack point.
That's what champion teams do. That adaptability is key. Canada did manage a penalty, stemmed the flow a bit.
But halftime arrives, and it's 21-8.
And that historical note is quite something, isn't it? Only 1 point different from the score in the 2014 final between these same teams.
Adds a bit of weight to it all. So, second half. England looking to put the game away quickly.
Yeah. Hunting that bonus point try, showing no signs of letting up.
And they got it pretty fast.
Flawless execution, really. 10 minutes into the half, Alex Matthews nearly gets there again, picking from the scrum base.
Just short.
Just short, yeah. But Abbie Ward, the lock, she was right there. Added that all-important extra yard, as they say. Crashed over. 50th minute.
Showed their depth, didn't it? Using phases, punching holes.
Relentless pressure. But then came a moment that really shifted the game's dynamic. Temporarily, at least.
The sin bin.
The sin bin. This is maybe our third insight that kind of flew under the radar a bit. Hannah Botterman, who'd been having such a great game.
Yellow carded.
Yellow carded, 52nd minute. Referee Holly Davidson, dangerous clear out, maybe a bit of a tip tackle on Karen Paquin.
So suddenly England are down to 14. That's a massive moment.
Huge tactical test. 10 minutes shorthanded. It wasn't, madness like some reports called it, but definitely an error in judgment, high contact situation.
And Canada.
Canada, well, credit to them, showed fantastic awareness, exploited that player advantage immediately.
Took them barely a minute, right?
60 seconds. Structured attack, moved it wide quickly. And Hogan Rochester was over in the corner for her second try, 53rd minute.
Wow. Proves Canada had the smarts and the skill to punish any slip-up.
Definitely. They could challenge England when given that numerical edge. But again, England's response showed their experience, their maturity.
They managed it well, even short-handed.
Managed the territory. And their final try, Matthew's second, it involved an interesting tactical choice.
The up and under kick.
Yeah, the kick. You might ask why use the aerial route when the pack's been so dominant.
Suggests they wanted to mix it up, force an error.
I think so. Belief in their chase, maybe try and pressure a tired Canadian back three under the high ball.
And it worked.
It did. Replacement scrum half Lucy Packer reacted quickest when the ball was spilled, set it up for the pack, and they secured the score. Sealed that 33-13 win.
So that final try, showing that adaptability, varying the attack, that's maybe our fourth subtle detail people missed. Not just power, but smarts too.
Absolutely. Look, before we get into the really fascinating stuff around Canada's performance off the pitch, we want to hear what you think. What were your thoughts on that final? Which try was the highlight for you? Or was that record crowd the main story?
Yeah, let us know. Jump into the comments wherever you're listening. And hey, while you're there, please hit subscribe to Rugby Obsession. We'd really appreciate it. Okay, let's pivot now. Let's talk about some incredible individual performances, especially focusing on the runners-up, Canada. Because this leads us to our final and maybe most contradictory missed detail.
Right. Canadian lock, Sophie Goede, named World Rugby Women's Player of the Year.
An incredible achievement.
Just astounding. And you really need the context to appreciate it fully. This award came after just an unbelievable comeback story.
The injury.
Yeah, she suffered a major ACL injury, anterior cruciate ligament, back in June 2024.
That's usually season-ending, career-threatening even.
Exactly. So to recover from an ACL tear that quickly, get back to playing, lead her team to a World Cup final, and then be named the best player on the planet.
It's genuinely inspirational.
It's the definition of resilience. Her performances throughout the tournament, especially carrying that physical recovery, it just elevates her status, more than just a top player.
And it sets up this well, this astonishing contrast, doesn't it? Which is our fifth and maybe the most critical missed insight about where women's rugby is globally right now.
It really does.
You've got the World Player of the Year, Sophie Goede, leading a finalist team. The absolute pinnacle outside of England's setup, really.
And yet, and this is the stark reality the sources highlight, Canada, despite reaching the final, despite having the World Player of the Year, they had to crowdfund.
Crowdfund just to get there.
Yeah, crowdfund for basic financial support just to participate in the World Cup. It's not just a small funding gap, is it? It feels like a systemic issue, failing to properly support one of the world's top 2 teams.
It paints such a stark picture. On one side, you have England, fully pro, huge home support, breaking records left, right, and center, building this dynasty. And on the other, you have this truly world-class team, finalists, led by the Player of the Year, relying on donations for essentials. It just shows the massive gap in investment across international rugby.
That's really what stands out when you summarize this deep dive, isn't it? This tension. You've got exponential growth clashing with really uneven infrastructure.
Yeah.
The final itself, a masterclass from England, 5 tries, that amazing crowd, 81,885 people cheering them on.
Record-breaking enthusiasm.
But you pull back that wider lens and you see the incredible dedication of teams like Canada is built on, well, frankly, a pretty fragile financial base.
So if we connect that to the bigger picture, the provocative thought maybe for you, the listener, to this, how does all this spectacular growth, the records, the world-class players like Goede, how does that square with a finalist team needing to basically pass the hat around just to compete?
It's a tough question.
It is. Something to think about as the women's game keeps evolving. For more deep dives and analysis on topics just like this one, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession today.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
And we'll look forward to you joining us for our next episode.